Well, what are we doing today? Well, this is a bit more of a somber occasion. We are preparing for Anzac Day, which is tomorrow. However, this video will likely span 2 days. Anzac Day. So, before I get too far into this, I'm going to suggest that if you are an Aussie, or perhaps if you are a sympathetic foreigner, that you go out and make a donation to the Anzac Appeal and maybe score yourself an Anzac badge. Something I have been doing for quite a considerable amount of time. And the astute among you will notice that there's a few other non-Anzac badges in there. There's a long history behind all of those, but these are the 3 that I've got this year. So that does help the RSLs and veterans in many different ways. Now, before we go too far into this, I need to explain what Anzac Day is about for those who are uneducated. Although uneducated might be a slightly strong word, who just simply don't know. It's a Sunday, the 25th of April every year. It's a day that Australia stops to, and New Zealand, of course, stops to commemorate, not celebrate, the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, particularly those that died at Gallipoli. Although the day has morphed to commemorate all those who have served and died in service. So basically, the part of this that I get involved in is dawn service, and last year and as well as this year, we were basically, COVID restrictions meant that we couldn't celebrate it. There is celebrations up the main street this year, but they're not doing a dawn service, and that's the bit that's very meaningful to me. Namely, I have experienced the loss of quite a number of people in the military service as well. They weren't killed, well, most of them weren't killed in the line of service, but these are veterans that I have known for a long period of time and grown very fond of, and they've since passed away. I did donate to Soldier On last year as well, and they gave me this driveway at dawn pin that was commemorative of 2019, where pretty much the whole country was locked down. We had to do dawn service in our driveway. That's the explanation out of the way. I know I'm tripping over my words a little bit today, but this gets a little bit harder every year for me. It's a very emotional event, simply because I keep losing people. So, back to our problem at hand. There's no dawn service, and that's normally what I would do. We'd normally do a dawn service and then go and make our donation to the local RSL that would provide a gunfire breakfast, which is usually baked beans and snags or something along those lines, or baked beans, snags and eggs. So, I'm going to put on a display. I have a couple of pieces of military hardware and a military-esque piece of hardware. I'm going to put on a little display in the front yard. And I have my vinyl sign that was put together by Tinkerman Mick last year for the same purpose. I'm going to stick that up, encouraging people to donate to the Anzac Appeal. They did experience a significant loss as a result of the lockdown last year, or a significant drop in donations. So, one of the things I've got to do now is plot out the space I have in my front yard and decide how I'm going to arrange vehicles. We're probably going to camp in the 6-wheel drive ambulance overnight so that we're up and ready for dawn service in the morning. We'll probably position it so that the projector can display a little bit of a slideshow in memoriam of my late World 2. He was a World 2, so level 2 warrant officer. He was also one of the founding members of the museum I volunteer for and am now on the committee of. Do a bit of a memoriam for him and invite the neighbours over. We'll put the boiling vessel on, give them a free coffee, do our 1 minute silence, and probably put the radio broadcast on from Canberra. Last year, the local showgrounds turned their sound system up to maximum and broadcast the last post and the reveille after a minute's silence. You could hear it across the entire town. It was actually quite poignant. So, a couple of other things I need to do. I need to find myself a flag. I have a Chinese-made Aussie flag. I've left it too late to buy a genuine one again, but I do have an Anzac specific lest we forget flag that might go up the pole. Unless I can borrow a spare flag from the museum, we'll find out. I may borrow a couple of things from them. I think we're about at the end of explanation now, so I'm going to put chapters in this so people can skip through all this as well. So let's get on with planning our space and finding some bits and bobs. All right, flag time. Now let's see what we've found. All right, so I have an Aussie flag which somehow has got dirty. Somebody has been in my storage. Although this is a cheapy Chinese flag and it's a little bit small. It's actually, I kind of feel a bit like I'm disrespecting the flag showing this as dirty as it is. I might give this a clean regardless because it is an emblem of the country, but it's a Chinese one and it's not really suited to flagpole use. I would have to make a couple of modifications for that. It's probably not suitable for the task at hand, and it doesn't really look that great. I have a lest we forget flag here. This one's a little dusty. It's been sitting on a shelf in a dusty room for a year, but this has got the rising sun emblem on it. We're looking at it backwards here. This has got the rising sun emblem and lest we forget on it. So that one will certainly go up the flagpole, and that is designed to go up the flagpole. I know this one, it's the same flag I flew last year. So that was actually a donation as well, so I very much appreciate that donation. All right, let's get on to checking our hardware. All right, for the hardware section, we're going to look at my mini museum as an example. I have, if you are not a follower of my channels, I have a nice olive drab green 8-wheel drive Argo. These are made in Canada. The one I have is not ex-military, but they have been used by military forces in various parts of the world, including the Australian forces. I don't have models of the other two vehicles, but you can see one of them out the window right here. I have a 6-wheel drive ambulance, and I have a 4-wheel drive Land Rover as well, which is the 4-wheel drive version of the same thing. They call them Parentis after Project Parenti, which is where they militarized Land Rovers and contracted that to Jaguar Rover Australia. So I intend to display all three of those vehicles in the front yard. Now I have a 10 by 20 metre front yard, and the 6-wheel drive ambulance is 6 metres long. This guy is a smidgen over 2 metres, and the 4-wheel drive is about 4 and a bit metres. And so it's going to be a little interesting to see how I position everything. I have a projector in the back of the 6-wheel drive, and I want to project a bit of a display onto that as well. So I might need to organise a slightly better screen than an old sheet. So we've got a little bit to do. All right, I just made a couple of phone calls, and pretty well everybody sold out of genuine Australian flags. Not surprising, I do this every year. On the plus side, there's some camouflage net. I just called called the secretary at the museum, and he said, yeah, he'll drop off a bit of cam net from your display a little bit later today. So that should show up. Now I need to actually put my shoes and socks on and go out and get some keys and move some vehicles around. So I'm going to do a quick little scribble on pen and paper and have a bit of an idea about how I want to position vehicles. All right, we're going to open a brand spanking new notepad for this one. My old notepad's a little bit used. All right, so let's have a look at what we have in our front yard. So we have the front of our house here. Okay, we have our carport which extends out a fair way here, and then we have a bit of driveway left. There is probably about 5 meters of driveway here, so it's about 5. We're going to do things in meters just to make things a little easier. The total frontage from here to here is 20 meters. Oh no, sorry, it's 20 to that, and it's about, 10 from there, from what I've measured. So it's a 20 meter. Here is a little bit longer than 10 meters. We're going to say it's 12 meters up here. So my thinking is I'm going to stick my 4x4 across the driveway at a funny diagonal angle there. I'm going to stick my 8-wheel drive Argo up here, which is shorter, and I might park the 6-wheel drive ambulance rear facing that way so that the door can be up. I can serve coffee to the neighbours, and we can have our projection screen. Let's change my field of view here. We can have our projection screen facing out that way so people can see it. But it won't blind. There is an intersection over here, and we don't want to blind or distract people at that intersection because they drive it far too fast through there. And anyway, this will shine mostly towards the neighbour's front fence, which is fairly tall, and he's quite amenable to this, so we should be pretty happy. And it also means my senior financial manager, aka wife, is also a graphic designer. She's going to throw together some graphics to put on a slideshow, and we will mirror them so that on the reverse side of our projection screen it looks readable. That's what I'm thinking we do. We may end up this, well, we've got a perimeter beam across the whole front of the property, so anybody that steps off the footpath will trigger that. So we might disable that for the morning. I may also set all of these back just a little bit, but the fence pole here does, there is a veranda post, or sorry, a carport post in these areas here that might cause a problem. Now I have a big ass trailer hiding out in here too, that is holding the Argo. I may need to move that out and get the Argo off it, because I don't think I want to put it on the soft grass. The jockey wheel always sinks in, so I think we'll actually drive that around. And I have a military trailer as well. That is parked in behind here. I haven't considered using that. I might hitch it up to the 4x4 just to add a bit more display to it, so people driving past see a big wall of camouflage stuff. All right, let's get on with shifting vehicles around. I might even be able to position some surveillance cameras and do a bit of a time lapse of this. All right, so normally I would use the other camera for this, but I need two hands free, so I'm on the GoPro helmet cam for this one. Now let's see if I can get my clips down out of the way. Or a bit of a hodgepodge of clips and connectors here. The original ones were a bit degraded. Let's see if we can get our flag out without it touching the ground. Now this guy up here, let's see which way round have we got it. That way should be right. The prevailing wind is actually the other direction, but we might have to just deal with that. See if we can get our flag up here. It's actually a suitably windy day today. It might actually fly properly. Alright, let's get both our ropes going here. I definitely need to clean up the front yard, and I also need to untwist these ropes. Come on, hopefully you get past that tree which we need to trim out. It does just nicely. Okay. Alright, I'll just do this so that we don't get slapping ropes and it slipping down. Right, okay, our flag is up. Right, next job. So a loan just arrived from the museum. Got a whole bunch of this stuff. So we'll have to find out what sort of shape that's in and what pieces we've got and how we can use it. Alright, so the cam net is up. That's what it does to protect my front property a little bit. But I am going to have cameras everywhere because I reckon the neighbours will cause me some problems. At least the less scrupulous of my neighbours. I get along with most of them, but there's a few there that, yeah, it would be a problem. I need to clean the back of this up too. This junk sitting in here that doesn't look pretty. So anyway, still got more to do. I'm getting pretty exhausted now. MS is a bit of a killer like that. Anyway, let's keep trudging on. I'm going to take my sign in until later on because there is a history of midnight vandals in this area. But yeah, this is courtesy of Tinkerman Mick last year. He spent quite a bit of time trying to get this perfect. And well, it's lasted and I appreciate his effort. Does need a slight cleanup, but I'll do that shortly. Alright, so the next task that's going to be is, aside from the wind, I've refilled both kettles, but we've got to clean this place up. It looks like a bomb's hit it, so definitely need to give it a good clean up. People are going to be staring in it. If we camp here, we'll probably have the door down, although I'm thinking we might sleep inside and keep this nice and clean looking. Anyway, let's get a move on. Now, we've had to come around the side of the 6x6. There is one thing I am going to do. We're going to be running the kettles, both of them. The big one pulls 50 odd amps or more. So we're going to need to plug in our mains charger, which is, again, this was packed up in a hurry and doesn't come out very easy. So we will pull this extension lead out of here and we'll plug the mains charger in. It's only good for 10 amps, but we're probably going to want this nicely topped up when we're ready to use it. So yep, let's plug that in and reel it out and we'll shut the door with the lead in here. Right, I think we're going to enlist the wife's help to do a bit of cleaning and maybe my apprentice a little bit too. That's her space. I'll get this sorted out. The projector screen I will work out when it gets a little bit darker. I have a section of nice and neatly hemmed white fabric that is actually conveniently part of a bed sheet. I'll string that up across the back and we'll get it sorted. Anyway, I've got it all fairly worked out. I need to clean up a lot of this stuff. We will do some of that later. I am completely exhausted now. I need a rest and probably lunch. So I'm going to wander inside, have some lunch, and then we'll be back at it after that. Right, well, we're mostly set up. All right, let's see how we go. Right, so the day has gone on. Sun is starting to set over here that you probably can't see on camera. It's time to get the radio station worked out, which means I've got to put my FM receive antenna on, which is the custom paint job I did. Probably looks a little beaten up now, but in this current state it doesn't really get knocked off, despite the fact that it's actually pretty new. Anyway, we've got to put that up on the antenna mount up here. because I have a marine radio in here simply because it's waterproof. Anyway, we're going to use the ABC's broadcast from Canberra, so that should get the FM radio happening. Alright, we can put our tailgate up. Now I have stuck my sign up off camera just because I needed to, but our sign is hanging out down here somewhere. I'm trying not to film the neighbours because that's a little bit rude. But anyway, my sign is up. And it sounds like we're going to have at least a couple of extra people tomorrow morning, so it'll be interesting. Now, let me go tune in the radio. Right, so we're going to fire up the good old GR300BT. I picked this up while I was working for a comms company. I got it for a good price. It's a little bit dusty and oily in here, but that's what happens. That's why I got a dustproof, waterproof radio in here. So, still stuck on Bluetooth mode, so 100.7 is what we want, and that's what we're on. So, that's ABC FM. Come on, come back. 100.7, that's what we want. So let's set that into preset number 1 so I don't lose it. So now, if we we've got to turn the thing off. So if we come in the morning and we go like that, we'll have ABC FM. Alright, cool, that's good, and I'm receiving it nice and clear with the antenna on. Alright, fire siren test day. Alright, I'm not too far from the fire station or the ambulance bay on that. Anyway, let's get moving with everything else. Alright, well, the sun has gone down and I have a temporary camera hiding inside the mailbox watching for everything. So yeah, I've got my helmet cam here, I'm downloading footage, I've got a whole bunch of clips here getting ready to go into editing. I'm expecting actually more people than I thought. Some people have actually decided they're going to show up, maybe 5 or 6 extra people. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I've got the projection screen up, but I'm inside now. We've done a bit of a clean up inside. I think we're pretty well done. I've got the kettles all sorted, extra tea and coffee and milk is all set aside. Taking some snags out of the freezer in case we need to do a gunfire breakfast. I think we're going to be pretty right. So yeah, going to be an early morning. It's something like 7 o'clock now. Normally I like to be in bed fairly soon for Anzac Day, but we're still working on our slideshow. But anyway, I'll see you all in the morning. I'm probably going to cut this very creatively, so I'm probably going to cut to really the service in the morning. I might stick a GoPro down with a mag mount and just let it go and then cut that accordingly. So see you all then. Alright, it's 5 AM. We're going to get everything set up. We've got some graphics going on the projector, all mirror image, so from the other side it's easy to see them. So yeah, from here on in it's going to be a fairly quiet and somber affair. So yeah, I'm just going to pretty well switch to the main event. I've got quite a bit to do, so yep, let's see how we go. I can thank my financial manager, aka wife, for the graphic design here. I probably could have aligned the projector a little bit better, but you know, we'll work with what we've got.
State President RSL Victoria to recite the oath. They went with songs to the battle. They were young, strength of limb through a wire, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end against odds uncounted. They fell with their faces to the foe. They shall grow not old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. at the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. Lest we forget. Stand down. The official party may now be seated. Her Excellency the Honourable Linda Desai, Governor of Victoria, will present her Anzac Day Address.
We refer to them are heavily reliant, especially as in this
All right, well, the sun's up now. I'm going to go do the hardest part of Anzac Day. I'm going to go and see a couple of old mates. Always in the same spot, so they should be easy to find. But let's go have gunfire breakfast first. Alright, and with that we're going to do our traditional gunfire breakfast. The RSL's not doing it this morning, so we're going to do it at home. Just baked beans, local eggs and local butcher snags. So yeah, pretty well wraps it up for this video. I would say I hope you enjoyed it, but it's a commemoration, so maybe you didn't. It's a bit rough for me every year, so I hope we'll see you next year for Anzac Day. Catch us later.